We are live. Woo! Let them all get in here. Come on, my paranormal freaks.
Oh, I love this
song. Already jamming, having a blast. I had to put my bestie pink on for you guys.
Now,
here we go. Let me go on and share. I almost forgot. Here we're jamming away. Go on there and share, girl.
Go get it. This is a good song.
I love that song. Hey. There we go. There's Laura. Hi, Laura. Hi, Rita. Here they come. Go get on the share real quick. That's what we're doing is jamming along. We got Holly with us right now. We get other ones are going to be joining in a few. There we go. There's Mama. There's my mistress. Hi, baby. Come on and get on and share. Get them up there. I'm trying to share myself. I got somebody in index. Hold on. Anybody that indexed me really quick? Come on the show and watch it. Hi, Amy. That's my partner in crime. We're at GHW. Share, share, share. I'm trying to share. My computer works like slow. But I say, hey. It's all I can say. Hey, Brian. How you doing, brother? Hi, Amanda. Come on in and share. I'm going to try to share, but I'm about ready to say forget it because my... Hey, Kat. Glad to see you again, girl. How you doing? Share, share, share. Just as soon as I can, I'm going to share, but mine keeps on rotating. There we go. It's like one of those slow boots, like me in the morning. Son, hello, Corey. Keep on coming, guys. Share all you can share. We're about ready to boot this. There she is. That's what I was looking for. And I'm about to share. There we go. I love it. All right, guys, we're going to kick it off here in a second. I finally got my sharing. I love that song. All day at Scarefest.
I know. That'd be awesome.
There we go. Hey, there's Lee. Hi. There we go. Kick it off. Welcome, Paranormal Freaks. I'm your host, Mike, and you're watching Paranormal Highways. Hey, look at this sexy thing on the other end of the line with me.
Now, don't talk about yourself like that.
Oh, okay, he's got a pretty pink shirt on. Look, I'm getting out, and I've always wanted to podcast these ladies, but they are so busy, it's hard to get a hold of all of them once. But we do have Holly Mullins with us, and we're going to talk with her, and I do believe there's another one that may join us a little later on. She has satellites, but she has to, wander through the woods like Hansel and Gretel and drop breadcrumbs and stuff like that.
Yeah, pretty much. Satellite internet. It ain't like Jurassic Park. No. She's going to have to drive away to the truck stop.
Oh, don't put her in the truck stop. I know about them places.
Listen, she can handle herself. I mean, she can definitely put herself in them situations and get herself out of them situations. We've been in some weird places doing some weird things.
Oh. We'll get to that, then. That's what I was saying. But everybody, welcome Holly. Hey, Chad. He just popped on there. How are you, boss? I call him boss over here. We'll kick it off with Holly, and if anybody else joins, then we'll put them all in there, and then I'll kind of slowly fade out and let you all see the ladies as they talk along. All right, let's start with this. Now, everybody sits there and has this idea about gypsies. Now, it's you remember the old time gypsies where you had the gypsy wagons. They usually follow a carnival or something like that. Explain to us the new age gypsies.
Yeah, sure. Gypsies, which I can understand. I guess some people do take offense. Well, we've had nothing but love. Although most people, I guess, would assume that if you follow by the gypsy name, that you do have some kind of heritage in the gypsies, and that is what it is. Most of us do have that heritage in our blood. However, it is also in our soul. So gypsies are travelers. We are women who are all over the place. Just like you said, it's hard to keep up with us because we're always on the road somewhere. We're always reading for people, and we're travelers. That's what we do. We also carry the name of a witch, and that's something that you were talking about earlier. And he was like, "How do you carry the name of a gypsy and a witch?" Well, that's easy. We're gypsy witches, and most gypsies do. They do have that heritage too. Although, when you think of a gypsy, you just think of it, automatically as a psychic, as someone who has that heritage in them. We choose to carry the witch name because that is also who we are. We're very eclectic. For anyone who is not familiar with that term, we actually do not choose a certain religion to follow. We are very spiritual, and we just carry on our traditions. And well, there's Misty. Hey.
I was going to let you finish before I say, hey. Oh, girl, we can't see you. We just see the glasses.
I tell you what, Lord, let me get you some light. Look, I normally have to go to my local fire department, but they were having a meeting this time. So I had to drive to my local school, which there's a bunch of people here too. So if I get a knock on my window, y'all will know what's happening.
You better put that thing in drive and go.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
But
I have horrible internet, so I have to drive out to get internet. This is what I'm doing for you, Shane. I love you so much.
Oh, thank you so much. Love you too. See, that's the thing. I met these ladies at Scarefest last year, and I was sitting there rubbing on top of what was it? A skull. I was rubbing my skull. And they watched me, and I was watching them with that sly look. And then I run over there, and whose crystal ball was it that I?
Ashley's.
That was Ashley's. It was. And we started messing with them, so they'd run over and mess with us. But we had a great time. These ladies are great. I'm telling you, right? But Holly was explaining about where you do carry make sure I got this right. The witch's name.
Title, yeah, that's
what whatever you want to say, and the difference between the two of, I guess, if there is or is not, of the oh gosh, I just said it, witch and the gypsy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I was just explaining how, first I want to get to the gypsy side of us, and how, we do have it in our heritage, and then also just the meaning of a gypsy, the soul connection with a gypsy, and then the witch title I was getting to, that is a big part of who we are, a huge part of who we are, and we're very eclectic. I was just explaining to them that eclectic is a term used for a witch who carries on the traditions of how she feels, what she's drawn to. So an eclectic witch will be someone who you will see doing supposed Wiccan things or pagan things, or it's just up to them. It's like spirituality to us. We do not pick a certain religion to go by. It's whatever we feel or drawn to, and I believe that fits all of us.
Oh gosh, yeah. Like each one of us are drawn to different things. Like Holly is drawn more Native American. You could definitely see those roots in her. The mountain lores, her granny woman, those things are led from her. The more I got into mine, I found like I couldn't understand where the hoodoo thing was coming from. And Holly knows that I was just continuously like, I don't got no hoodoo. Me, this is that, But then I found there was a big correlation with, on these like George Washington's plantation and things like that. There was hoodoo practices there, but then they would call them cunning folk. This was more of your mountain magic, and they were crossing. And this was in Virginia. This was one of the first places that they found that they would find when they would do like these digs and look at certain things. And then I realized that's why, because that is transcendent through the mountains of Virginia and things. So it made sense to me then. My sister, she's very much drawn to, she is more, I think, lately empathic than anything. She really, really is stepping that up. Like when she comes in contacts with people, it is very hard for her sometimes to like shake their energy. Her empath side is just unbelievable, but she's also drawn to certain sides of it and stuff. She likes to study all different realms and stuff too. Ashley does. So that's us. Like it's literally not just one path, it's like all over that adds into us.
Okay, so you said hoodoo. Is
Yeah.
hoodoo like voodoo?
Hoodoo voodoo you do, baby. Yes, actually voodoo is okay, so when I did a little bit of studying, because I couldn't understand why I enjoyed this so much, you will see a lot of jar work, honey jars, you'll see a lot of vinegar jars, things like that. And I couldn't actually voodoo is that me feeding back? I'm sorry.
No,
But
it
anyway,
was me. Sorry.
okay. So I really get to where I'm like, I didn't understand where this was coming from. So I did a little bit of research. Now, Holly probably, I don't know if she told you, a lot of people they mistaken I think they think that being a witch you have to pick like a Wiccan path or things like that. So when you become eclectic, it's very beautiful because then you can add all these things together and that's okay. It's whatever your soul feels. But the thing of it is Holly is very much so led by spirit, like the great divine, things like that. Me and Ashley still pull from God. Like I will do, and it's all the same thing. It's the greater energy. But hoodoo actually believes in God. A lot of it, the saints, a lot of the like Catholic saints and things like that are added into it. I don't practice that completely. I practice more of the mountain aspect of it, the
Okay.
superstitions, things like that. So that's when it kind of touches over in Holly's area a little bit because she's from the mountain and things like that. So that's where I do believe some of their practices, but being eclectic is cool because it tells us that we actually believe in a lot of different things, but we don't take solely from one area. But I do tend to practice a lot of more. I love jar spells. I love anything like that root, that it's called root work, by the way. The grounding, things like that. I really, because you got to remember these people a long time ago had no money. They would just
Right.
pick up what they had and they would make these spells and things. And I really enjoyed that aspect of it.
Right. I see. So if I was about to, every time I go to say something, I forget exactly what I was going to say, but it's more like uh, I'll come back to
Happens
it. This,
all the time. All the time that happens.
Lisa will know the word. My wife will know the word because I forget it and I'll say it 30 times before I get on the show, and then I'll forget it when I go to ask it. So you guys are more like so you've got psychic abilities, medium abilities, empath abilities. So
Yeah.
what's the difference between all of who's got who or
Oh
who's got
Lord.
what? Or do you all have
Okay.
all?
Well, I think Holly, you start off, but I think that it all touches us in whichever way the spirit wants to communicate. But go
Yep.
on, Holly.
Yep, absolutely. For years, after I started having experiences, I was trying to figure out who I was spiritually because I didn't fully understand. I always was taught that certain people had these psychic abilities and only certain people could read. And so I was under the assumption that I would never have these abilities, although in my mind as a child, I was like, man, I'd sure like to be able to do this, because I think it's just the magical part of it. But as I grew and as I went through my stages of spiritual awakening, I realized very quickly that this is something that everybody possesses within them. It's up to I'm a big believer in past lives, and being reincarnated. And the reason I believe this is because that as we reincarnate, our souls, we learn and we grow. And that's the reason that we reincarnate. However, like when we are getting in touch with our spirituality, we start to grow because we're putting that focus on them certain abilities. I always tell people I don't control what comes out of this. This is all spirit. So when I say spirit, I mean, God or higher power, whatever you call it. I believe that as you go along and as you mature spiritually, you are given these gifts. When I first started doing things, I didn't think of myself as a medium at all. I just said I was psychic. Something was going on. I'm empathic. You'll see a lot of people that do that. A lot of people will label themselves as just one title, I guess you could say. Psychic is a big word, and there's a lot of terms that fall underneath that. So for us, it's been a journey, and it's going to continue to change for us. And we're going to continue to add on these spiritual gifts that keep coming through. Like when I first started, it was I'm clairaudient. I start hearing things. I started having out of body experiences to begin with, but it's progressed now,
Right.
and it progressed really quickly to healing and mediumship before that, and it's just all one huge umbrella. It's just up to you how much effort and how much you are willing to actually discipline yourself to engage in like meditation and to connect with them abilities.
So that's how you when did you start doing the meditation and stuff like that when you really wanted to do that?
I started meditating and getting more in touch with my psychic abilities about 6 years ago. I had no idea what the hell I was doing, and I thought meditation was for monks. I was like, what the hell is this shit? And I've got ADD, and I was like, man, this ain't working. And then I finally figured out, okay, we've got to start from, the basics and go up. So I'm a firm believer in we're always meeting teachers who come into our life. We're never the master of anything, so we're always students, but we have people that live in our life, and they give us these special little gifts of tools that we can use, and we grow from that. And meditation helped me so much. The second time I ever meditated, that's when my hands started heating up, and I didn't know what the hell was going on with that. And someone had actually come into my life and said, Holly, I think you're a healer. And I was like, bullshit, because at the time I was a paranormal investigator. So before doing this, as well as Misty and Ashley, we all have a big background in the paranormal as investigators. So you don't always, I know back then I didn't put them together. It was separately.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, well, I see what you're saying there, because actually you kind of, well, I mean, I would keep them separated for myself. If it was, if it was me, I would separate it myself, because you could make a deeper connection than what a paranormal investigator could. That's the way I would see,
Right.
I put it that way. So how about you, Misty?
Well, our path, the thing Holly was talking about, we were talking a little bit earlier. We have known each other so long, it's unbelievable. I can't even remember now how far it goes back. But when we first, me, Holly, and Ashley crossed paths, we were doing paranormal investigating, like she said, and we were just, you could see that we were just, we were opening up and we were trying to investigate and use our gifts. Me and Ashley come from, which by the way, Ashley's at work, so she couldn't be with us this evening, but we have always grown up in a very, I know, we've grown up in a very superstitious house, which by the way, transcends over into the mountain lore, the cunning people, things like that.
Right.
And this was rooted in us. So things we were doing, we were told, you were asking about the psychic and things like that. When we
Right.
were all put together, we were told y'all are natural witches. That came along with as we developed spiritually, to tell you the truth. And it
So, in other
just
words, when you all first got together, they told you this.
Yes, we were put together
Oh,
by someone who said, you all have gifts. We're going to put this together. And she would say, y'all are natural. And we were like, what the hell are y'all now? Me and Ashley were completely in the broom closet forever. I just want y'all to know, got pulled, dragging.
I think she's on slow mo.
She's on the repeat.
She's on slow mo. Hey,
Am I up to date now?
You're
my God,
there. You are.
Oh my God.
That was beautiful.
But anyway, everybody would be like, oh my gosh, what happened? Because we were so scientific. If you could have met us years ago, we were scientific. What happened was is our grandfather passed. And when he did, we already had these gifts, but we were pushing them back. We weren't, because if you're not ready to receive them,
Right.
your spirit guides are not going to give that shit to you. I don't give a shit who you are. Number one rule is you have to acknowledge it. So it will be there, but they're not going to be as loud as when you say, okay, I got you. I feel this. I know it. You got to acknowledge them. If you can imagine, oh, Lord, my light went off. Hold on. I got to get her back on
Battery
here.
right now?
I hope not. I'll be
Oh
stuck
my
here.
gosh, somebody out there to jump Misty.
I know. Somebody come on, give me a jump. No.
That's kind of crazy.
But anyway, like I hope y'all can see me. I'm getting real close. So when we were just pushing them back, and unless you're ready to receive your gifts, they will not happen. I'm serious. They'll be there, but they won't be as strong as they could be. So during my grandfather, there was a big case around my grandfather when he passed and things like that. So the day that we realized something was really happening was we had Ashley had a dream and I had a dream, and we couldn't get up quick enough in the house to run to each other to tell each other. And it was about my grandfather. He had
Yep.
Oh no. Misty, come back to us.
Baby, come back. You can blame it all on me.
Hello. Is it me you're looking for?
Hello from the other side. I must have called 1,000 times. Come on,
Tell
Mr.
you, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Yeah.
We need paranormal karaoke. Just saying.
That's what we ought to do. I tell you what. I wonder if she had to reboot.
She might have to.
All right, let's get this in here real quick. We'll throw in a real quick one for our. This is from our sponsor, Chad Moore.
Hey, this is Ghost Hunt Weekend's president, Chad Morin, and you are listening to Paranormal Highways.
There she is. Well, hold on. There she is. She said, "Put her." She was pointing at me. Put me back up.
Put me back in, coach. I was saying, look, I got my light back, everybody. I do not. Misty does not need a jump at this time. Be on standby.
Oh my. Well, this is what. All right, this is what I was thinking of when Holly was talking about. There, Misty.
Yeah, there you go.
Elementals. Are you all real strong in the elemental part of that, or no?
Well, we've experienced. Okay, the energy of an elemental is completely different than the energy of a person.
Okay,
So,
I agree.
But it doesn't have to be negative all the time. People assume when you hear elemental, it's negative. That's not true. You got to remember these beings are older than we ever could be on this earth.
I agree.
So they have a different energy. They work in different ways. They want to be honored in certain ways. And if you can appease them, kind of make a trade. Like, for example, there was one at the place we used to go to a lot. So one day I remember, first of all, they're very aggressive drumming and stuff. A lot of times these elementals are, because it gets down to a different level with them. So you got to be careful with that, because I've had one that came down. It was like he was on my back because he was real aggressive.
Wow.
And then, but the day that it was appeased and it was just like, oh gosh, it released, is when we start hanging herbs.
Oh yeah.
And I realized, this one, a lot of times they're here to protect things. And that is a peace offering for them, is these herbs and these like tobacco and things like that. People forget that. So
Right.
yeah, definitely. You can come across elementals, and a lot of times it's very simple what they want, and that's respect.
Exactly. Well, just like anybody else, even as an investigator, you go in and respect the spirits that are in there. I mean, anything that you do. You don't go in there all bullheaded like a bull in a china factory.
Exactly.
We'll tell you what, ladies and gents, we will take a few questions. It's on that 3-second delay, so we'll come up here in just a second. Let's take a few questions before we get into our second part. Our second. Yep. Let's see. Come on. I'll pop it up here on the screen just as soon as one of them. I seen one. So everybody that asked a question before, go ahead and ask again. I was watching Holly and them.
I'm watching our live right now. We looking real sexy.
I'll tell you what, I had to put makeup. I put like a base of makeup on.
Well, I'm glad you did that. I didn't do shit. So y'all sexy. When you see me in person, you might be surprised.
I tell you what, you see me in person, honey, I'm gonna look better. I promise you that.
I got to see you ladies last year. I know what you look like in person. Look in person. I know what you look like in person. That's my Bronx coming out.
Yeah.
I do want to mention real quick. I know some of you guys are having to leave the viewing thing, but we do at the Southern Gypsies Facebook page. We're doing a giveaway right now. So if you go on there and like our page and like and share the graphic, it puts you in for a winning. And we're going to be drawing more than one. And the giveaway is our T-shirts. You'll see it. Gypsies and Running with the Gypsies on the back.
Oh, that's cool. So what is the website is www.
It's on Facebook. So you can go to the Southern Gypsies Facebook.
Southern Gypsy?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We do have a website though, and that's the www.southerngypsies.org. Isn't that right?
Yep.
.org.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Southern Gypsies, right? I just about put Southern Guppies. No, I didn't.
Yeah. You know.
I don't want to get punched next time I get seen.
I know in chat, I'm sorry to interrupt, because I'm sitting here watching it too. I did see someone say talk about the Native Americans, and also someone said to talk about the. Hold up.
So you all are able to see chat?
Yeah,
No,
I am.
I'm lucky to be here. I can't see it.
Good. Sometimes some of the people I have on here can't see chat, and sometimes they can. It just depends.
Yeah. So Amy says talk about Native Americans. Chris said, I wonder if there's elementals on other planets. Are we talking other planets or other planes of existence, Chris?
Oh shit!
Don't get me started.
So you go started another subject. What about that dimension, girl?
Well, how far do you go into that?
The rabbit hole. This is where we're
get
going.
on the rabbit hole.
Now, I just want to throw out one theory that I thought of over the past. You know how they draw energies off batteries and stuff like that?
Yes.
Right.
What if it's not for them to talk, but that energy is to open up that door between dimensions to be able to talk?
Right. Absolutely. I agree with you.
You just made me. Just wanted me to feel good about myself.
That's what it was. I was paying you honey. So For the planes of existence, for me, something, I mean, all of us in our group, we're on the same page because, besides us just talking amongst ourselves and having these conversations, we've all had these different experiences. So I definitely believe in other planes. I believe I could go really deep into it. However, I do believe that when spirits interact with us, it's through this other plane that also exists here on the earth plane. So in other words, you have your physical plane that we reside on. You have like an etheric. You have a astral. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, we could go really into this because, believe it or not, we actually know a little something, and we do have
just say a little bit. We can leave Scarefest so they can come down and talk to you all at Scarefest.
Yeah, well, absolutely. So when we talk about the planes of existing, it's pulling the energy. So when you're talking about them using batteries as power or draining the batteries of power, I absolutely believe that. And I believe that it's not so much about communication, but like you said, it's about drawing that energy to where they can come closer. So it isn't like there is another plane physically above us. People want to think so much about the physical, but they're not thinking about the spiritual aspect of it. Mm-hmm. So when we talk about meditation, why do we meditate and why does it help with spiritual growth? It's because we go inside of ourselves, right? Because there's just this whole universe and these planes that are here with us, but we are in these human bodies. So, we're stuck in these bodies. How else do we learn? So think of it in that aspect. So someone who has an out-of-body experience, their physical body is asleep. Their soul body is traveling. Where are they traveling to? They're traveling to these other planes of existence. You can either go out a higher vibration or a lower vibration. So that kind of is, that's all you.
That's. I didn't mean to cut you off, but when you said vibration, that reminded me of. Oh my goodness gracious! She's another lady that does Scarefest, and she does Inner Light and Beverly. Beverly was telling me about vibrations and the different planes of vibrations and stuff.
Yep.
Solly.
It's okay. No. I mean, most of us who talk about it and all talk about it, it's because we've had some type of experience that shows us this. So, for me, to be honest with you, I have ADD really bad, and it's really hard for me to sit and read books. So a lot of the knowledge that I've gained is through my own personal experiences because, I mean, I can't, not unless it's mommy porn, I can't sit there and read it. I mean, that's as far as we get with that.
I want to touch on a couple things that Holly was saying about the meditation. Okay. A lot of people believe that, like, Holly is able to set and go to that next level. I still have difficulty, and I don't have, well, I think I do have ADD, but I mean, I don't have, there's nothing that says that I shouldn't be able to do that, but I can't. But I tell you when I can when I'm driving, I zone out, and that's when my best messages come in. That's when you're driving? Best thoughts. Things like that. If you can find something that your body zones out at so you can let your mind relax, it could be anything with meditation.
Really?
Yeah, there's some people that go walking in the woods and that's their meditation. Some people drive. I used to have to drive hours upon hours, so I would completely veg out, just keep driving. And that's when, I mean, stuff would come to me that was unreal that I shouldn't have knew about, and that's how it was. Some people, yeah.
Hold on just a second, but I couldn't tell you what would make me zone out real quick because she may come upstairs and hit me across the head. When she starts yelling at me, I zone out real quick.
I've got some great ideas.
I've got someone making a comment in chat I want to bring up real quick before she gets lost in here. Kat says, we got a call a while back from a friend's place, a business regarding animal sacrifices and fire pits with children's clothing laying across the floor. I've still been researching as to why the clothing was paid out or laid out. Have you ever heard of this?
Okay, first of all, was the children in the clothes? No, I was just checking. It's so funny because everybody's always like, I'm not making light of that, but there's always that witch thing with children. But no, the thing of it is there are so many people think that when you take on the term of witch, there's only one path. You're Wiccan, you're witch, boom. That is not it, man. There is so many different facets of this, and then you got to remember, if there's eclectic people out there, um then the thing of it is oh Lord, Shannon's talking about gas stations and anyway, there are so many different facets of that it can overlap, and they could be making their own shit. I'm not joking with you. So some of you're talking about animal sacrificing, and then the children's clothes lays out and things like that. That is some stuff you're getting into, like bloodletting. You're getting into like, there is so many bad things about this that is ridiculous. So I've never bloodlet. I'm not going to say that somebody wouldn't want to do that, but I do advise against that, because you're taking the most precious thing you have, which is your blood, and you're giving it to something to say, take this power. You got to remember that blood is the most precious thing to us. So I always say, listen, you're going to do that bloodletting, you need to do a lot of research. I don't criticize any form of witchcraft. I don't. I think it's beautiful. It's their expression. But I sure don't get on that train, because that's the most precious thing that I can have, is my blood. So there's many facets of that. Then plus you got a lot of imposters. I ain't gonna lie. You got a lot of people out there that will go do all this kind of stuff and then say it's in the name of this. So to me, if you're finding a lot of things like that, I would think that was a young group that was not very educated, and they were just doing it for the shock and awe value of it. Truly, I would, because I don't know of any practitioners really that would. I don't know, Holly. What do you think?
She just said yes, there were cats, chickens, and more. You have to be really careful with these cases like this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know that. You just have to be very aware of people who are mentally off. People who believe that they're so deep in the rabbit hole, as I say, that they believe that this is going to, and they may believe this, and we all know it's about intent. The children's clothing, I don't know if this is part of, God, I don't know, man. I'm trying to get a feel for it.
I am. I tell you what it is. It's a damn cult. Okay, that's a cult.
Just come out and say it, girl. We're all adults here, damn it.
It's a cult. That's what I'm telling you it is. Okay.
Now, speaking of that, okay, you can sacrifice all you want, but when you start doing blood, wouldn't that make a stronger connection to whatever you're doing, because it is so precious to us?
Yes, it does. Yes. That's what people need to understand. I'm going to give you an example. We went down and we're not going to say where it is, but it's in the Kentucky area. Let's just put it that way. Okay. We went down there, and there was this girl who, God bless her, I sat down with her, and as I was reading, I realized that maybe she wasn't fully understanding what she was doing. And the spirits just kept saying, man, she's bloodletting. She's bloodletting. So I just completely turned to her and I was like, are you bloodletting? Are you doing this? And she's like, how do you know this? And I'm like, well, honey, they're talking, so I'm going to tell you. And she said that she had joined this, I believe, is a satanic group.
Yeah.
But they were trying to call up angels. So she was taking, now this girl was not very educated, God bless her. And if you're listening, I'm sorry, honey. Okay. And she was taking and making these sigils, making these symbols, and she was using her blood to do it. That's
my goodness.
The mother in me said, honey, don't be giving the most precious. Even I'll go biblical on y'all. Like the blood of Christ. What are you drinking at these like communions and stuff? It's a symbol of the blood of Christ. That's the best thing he ever gave us. Anybody ever, our creator gave us, was our blood. So we have to be very careful with this. So if you do choose to do bloodletting, it could be for your own personal gain. But when you take it to the next level and give it to a deity, when you give it to something you're trying to call upon, sometimes that's even a contract. I'm not going to lie. I know people who've signed contract with these other beings. We get told about these things. You've got to understand, if you're not educated in this and you're using your blood to call up this old being, you're talking about elementals, things like that. Let's take it that away. That is a contract that your ass has to pay for, okay? So you have to understand what you're doing before you start letting one of the most precious gifts you have out.
Yeah. Another thing when you do that, I'm going to try to get verification with you guys.
Yeah.
They may not fulfill your contract that night or the next day, but someday they will fulfill their contract.
Oh, yes, they do. Plus, I will tell you the number one way you can find out if somebody's doing some darker shit. Number one way. The first thing that goes is their fucking mind. I'm sorry if am I not supposed to say that?
No, you can say fucking.
It's their mind. It's their mental clarity. Number one way. I don't care what you'll see there when you're doing spell work, the quickest way to get it is do it dark. I'm not gonna lie. That's why it's tempting. That's why a lot of people do it. I don't really believe in dark and light. I believe in a witch's path. But if they really go really left on you, and you start seeing the prosperity come in super fast on these witches or these practitioners, there's a reason. There's a reason, because most of the time they're going a little darker, okay? When they go darker, the first thing they pay with is their sanity. I swear to goodness, Holly, you
Really?
know the truth.
Yeah. Actually, I didn't hear the last part there. I was trying to reply to one of the chats in here. She wanted to know what happened to the girl. Another story to go along with that. Was this her sister, or was it the one that I had to go in with the paranormal team with, Missy?
I don't believe it was the one that was there that day. She had the outfit on, and I took
Okay,
her.
it's her sister.
Okay,
so this is the kicker part of it. I had a paranormal team, really good friends of mine, Tony Pelosi in Harlan County, Kentucky. He called me in and said, Holly, I really need you. Because what we're dealing with is something I am not capable of handling. So the girl, it was bad because the girl was mentally slow anyway. However, she had got online and got into some of these groups and got involved with a man, and he apparently was psychically coming into her room at night.
Shit.
All kinds of shit. It was bad. And she would talk about it, and you do this to someone who's mentally not all there. It really fucks with them. But she also was into witchcraft, and some of the things that she was doing and was telling me. It was really sad, guys, because we live in an area where it's big Bible Belt. You're Christian or you're not, and that's the way it is, and that Baptist. So but so the family, she actually moved in with her mom and dad, who were really religious. And so I had to explain it to them in my terms that, look, I can come in and I can do a cleansing on your home and I can cleanse her, which I did. But I had to look her straight in the face and say, listen, you've been doing this and that and this, because you can't hide it from people like us. No. So don't ever think that if you want a reading from us, or if you want us to come in to help you in your home, that we're going to bullshit you ever. Because that's something I don't do. I will call you out on your shit. And that poor girl was just like, so she was hunkered down and like a little child. I mean, not me. I wasn't being mean, but I wanted her to confess that she was still talking to this guy who she had this connection with. So, the girl had been in a psych ward before multiple times. So this is where you have to be completely careful, because that makes you liable in some aspects. So I chose my words very carefully. And I also told them that she needs to seek medical help as well, because do I believe they coincide? Hell yes, I do. When someone is in a state of mental distress, it makes it even worse for somebody who is empathic and has these abilities and not aware of it. So I believe she was one big storm. So, and this was her sister that we had no idea about.
She was a straight-laced one. She was a straight-laced one, the one that had watched her sister go through this. So it was real weird when we sat down. She was like, I'm so glad y'all are here. I want to, I was so excited to meet the witches. A lot of times people refer to us as the witches, or I've actually had, I had a lady who came in and she was, she was married to a man who is of Spanish descent. And the reason why she was there to talk to me, or to us, she just happened to get me, was because no matter what he did, he would always consult the brujas of the village, which is witches. So he got deported. So, and she was from a Christian background, baby. And she sat down with me and she said, this, he recommends that he does this. I'm going to do this. And to her, we were a house full of brujas. And she said that when he got back up here, she wanted to bring him to meet us because this was the American equivalent of what he had at home. So I thought that was really cool.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So it was the one that was in the psych ward.
Yep.
It was her. All right.
No, it was her sister that
it was her sister that was doing it.
I got to see, this is the deal. When you sit down with us and spirit starts to talk, or our guides, I try to link up with their guides. I ain't going to joke. And I could tell you whether you're linked up with your guides because it makes a flow. And when you're at vibrations, like Holly was saying, that we could tell because people vibrate at different vibrations. So when I meet a kindred soul, which is normally a practitioner or something, she vibrates differently. So I'm going to pick up on that. If I know you got a little bit of natural witch in you or something, you're going to vibrate a little bit different. We're going to pick this up. So as she's sitting there and she's talking to me, she was supposed to be the more how would you say the more the I don't want to say normal, but she was the one that was more socially acceptable. Let's just put it that way. Okay. And it was just ringing, man. It was to where literally we were talking about something else and I just called her out on it. I'm like, holy crap, you're doing this and this. And she didn't deny it. She said, yes. How do you know? Me, and I think she was talking to this spirit, this angel. She thought she was calling up. She was like, that's the only, me and this deity or whatever is the only one that knows. And I'm like, honey, people know on the other side, your spirit guys. People think it's just one spirit guide. If you could imagine like a shitload of people standing behind you, that could be your spirit guides. It just depends on how many are attached to you and how they need to help you through this life. I'll take a biblical. See, I do the biblical thing because in the South, people aren't going to listen unless you can show them a way to listen. Okay, so in the Bible, they tell you that God will send guardian angels. God will send you guides. These are the same things we're talking about. If it's easier for y'all to understand when I say angels or whatever, then you can't. I don't really work with angels. I could feel their energy is different when I try to read them. They're stronger. They cloak things. Angels will cloak things. If they're going to protect somebody, they really do. And I'll tell them, I'll say, listen, honey, I can't get nothing off you because you're protected. And I feel it, and it's a beautiful thing. And they do. I find that with people who need that guidance at that time, or either sometimes they're suicidal, because that angel is there to help them through these hard times. And it's a beautiful thing. So that's just some of the things, though. The guides, though, are a big thing. I'm trying to connect more with them, because once you connect with your spirit guide, then you can ask them, hey, help me connect over here. And I do that every time we read.
Well, that's cool because I've been told I definitely got one, and it's like a grandmother-like figure. One of those beat me with the sticks kind of thing. That keeps me in line.
Every Southern grandma beat somebody with a stick. I don't give a shit who it was.
Oh, get out there and pull that switch for me.
I do see. I'm going to interrupt you guys real quick. We do have a question. How can you get a reading from us? If you go to Southern Gypsies and the email list, we actually have a promo going on right now, and it's $10 off a reading. And we usually do it via email if we're not at events, because we do all live in separate areas. So we do a lot of online readings, and you can jump over there and just message us and say, hey, I'm using promo code #Gypsies. So we have that going on right now, and we're doing all kinds of giveaways, guys. Don't forget that. Also, there was another question too in here that you popped up there, Shane. Let me get back to it. It was about
let's see, who was it?
Laura. I love how you can pick up on different vibrations from people. Is it the same with auras?
Oh, honey, I'm so glad you asked because the other day, okay, so me and Ashley, okay,
And boy, Misty jumped right on that.
I did because this just happened to me the other day. I think that everybody, like one time, I thought I had like something was wrong with my eyes. I know this is gonna sound so crazy, like it really is. But one summer, I swear to goodness, I thought I had something wrong with my eyes. I was like, I'm gonna have to go to the optometrist, y'all, because I would see everybody outlined and some shit, and I'd be like, what in the hell is this? Well, I was like scared of it. I didn't know what the hell. I thought I was losing my vision. Shit, I didn't know what it was. It was like everybody was outlined in these highlight colors. So it kind of went away. But the other day, because I didn't want it, I wouldn't, But the other day, me and Ashley's muggle jobs, as Holly likes to say, we actually make heart parts. By the way,
Huh?
yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Isn't that weird?
Well, I got lost here. We were talking about gypsies. Now you're talking about fixing hearts.
Look, honey, it's a one-stop shop, baby. That's what I'm trying to say. But that's our normal job. So these ladies, some of them know what we do. And this girl was talking to me, and I said, I see a brown around you, which is very grounding. It's an earthy tone. It's very nice. It's comforting. And I said, around her, she's a green, blah, blah, blah. And I realized I was spitting off these colors and didn't even know that I was doing it. And she's like, and she called me on it. She said, that's cool that you can pick out a color. And I was like, oh shit. And that just happened this week. So I thought that was really cool. Most people like us, I believe that they can pick up on colors, and some of us don't realize that we're doing it. I believe that most of us can. I think the gypsies can definitely, and it's very much so. It's almost like when you pick up the vibrations, right? It's just a color that goes with it. Like, there's a woman that comes to me every day at work and says, well, what does my aura say today? And I'll tell her, and she's like, right on, and she keeps on trucking, and I know nothing about her, but it's the energy that is given off. Because if you work in energy, you're going to fucking know. Like, if you've ever, oh, sorry.
It's all right.
With you, Misty, I've been cussing this whole time.
I feel so bad.
It's all right. I put it all as explicit anyways.
Okay, good.
Because I don't know what's going to come out of our mouths.
That is true. Shit, that's true. But yeah, most people can. When they're picking up on those vibrations, a lot of times, if they just associate it with the color, they're good. They'll know how to do it. Most energy workers can do it. And it's just picking up on that vibration. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel auras more than I see them. Just certain times I'll see auras. Mostly if I see them, it's in my mind's eye when I'm actually trying to connect with someone. But for my part, as a healer, I feel their aura. So if you have like some type of tear in your aura or some type of like attachment, I can feel that too. But just like on your daughter at Scarefest, do you remember that, Shane?
Oh, yes, I do.
Yeah.
I think it was Misty that talked to her most of the time too, wasn't it?
Yeah, like you came over, and I was really honored that you did. You were like, I have some questions to ask you. She was having these things that were happening to her and how she could deal with it. And anytime you have anything like that, honey, we're more than welcome. I mean, any question you have, we're always welcome. By the way, I want to talk about that tear in the aura. I mean, I've never had a tear, but never mind. I was gonna make some funny out of it, but I'm just gonna keep that to myself.
It's too late. You can't just stick the tip in and pull it out. Might as well tell it.
No, I don't want to be like, what does it say? What would you call the feeling when you just know something is shady? Lord, honey, that's a goddamn gut feeling, and you go with that. You know what? I'm always, even though I sit down and I will read for you, and I know Holly's like this and Ashley's like this, we will have a gut feeling. We'll all be like, girl, don't you do it. Don't go that way. And we'll all talk about it. Next thing you know, we are asshole deep in some shit. And we're like, God, we should have listened to we do it too, because your heart will start out ruling what
Yeah.
your spirit is saying.
It's because the way that we're wired as humans is self-doubt. So
Yeah.
this is what we have to overcome too when we talk about psychic abilities and stuff. So even us, we still have self-doubt. So even though we got a little fucker in our ear and we got Misty on the ear.
I like your little beeper, man. I need that. I need somebody back here to be like,
Oh my goodness. Look, guys, and I'll let you, hold on, but this is how it was at Scarefest.
Yes,
We were doing crazy stuff.
Yeah, pretty much.
But go ahead, Holly.
I forgot what I was fucking saying because I got the ADD.
hey, look, he caught him with water and he couldn't do
I just
anything.
spit all over him. I cannot believe you just said you forgot.
I've got ADD. I told you I wasn't shitting.
Yeah, Lord.
You were talking about the feelings. I had to turn away. I just barely got away from my mixer. It was like, oh.
Oh my God, I really forgot what I was talking about.
Goodness
Might help
gracious.
me.
We were talking about the feelings that you get about people at the Scarefest, and she goes, "Oh, is that what we was on?"
And we don't go with them, Holly.
Yeah, that's what.
Okay. Yeah. But anyway, so what happens is, we are wired to go with your first instinct, which is, oh well, why am I thinking that? That's stupid. So you got Misty over here on the cards saying this is gonna happen, this is gonna happen. I'll read her cards, this is gonna happen, this is gonna happen. Ashley reading the cards, this is gonna happen. We're all like,
yeah,
well,
it ain't gonna be like that. Yeah. It's funny as shit because if you could have seen the last so many months when we do the cards, we all get consistently the same cards.
Yeah.
And we would all make excuses for them damn cards. We'd be like, oh, that's what it means, girl. It ain't the same. And then we would do the next reading for us, just the three of us. And we would always be like, nah, man, it means something else. And it will. We even went so far, I swear to goodness, as to say to somebody, I think I'm blocked, man. I think I'm blocked. We were like, damn it, we done lost our psychic ability. We were blocked. We were going. There's this one guy, and he was just like, honey, you're not blocked. You're just not damn listening. we weren't. And that's the funny part. We wasn't. And that's what I was going to tell y'all in the beginning. Like, you have to acknowledge that and take it in. If you don't, I was actually a person who shut off my gift. Because this is so horrible to tell, especially when I'm doing readings, but that probably about 2 or 3 years ago, Holly? 3 years ago, 2 or 3 years. Yeah. I actually shut my gift off, and it is hard as hell to do. This gift was loud. I mean, so much I would start shaking when it was talking. I mean, it was big and it was strong, and I loved it. But it was telling me about a situation that I had myself in that I didn't want to hear. So I literally had to think about shutting it behind a door. And if you could imagine like trying to lock away that gift, it was so hard. But then one day it just stopped. And then I had to build it back. I've had to build it back. I don't believe and I kind of am upset with myself because if I left it alone and kept on that path, I would be like in a different place, in a better place. But, that was a path I was supposed to go on, I think. Now I appreciate it so much more. Oh, my Lord.
Keep your gift. It's beautiful. I mean, the gifts you all have are beautiful gifts.
Lord, I love you. Called my gift beautiful. Look at it.
That gets some more brownie points.
We did have another question too in chat. Is there other ways besides meditation to grow your abilities? For me personally, yeah, they are, because a lot of people do have problems with meditation. Mm-hmm. But I'm telling you, if I can meditate, anybody can meditate. Guided meditation goes a long way with you. There's also other ways, like I guess Zener cards, putting your abilities to use. Maybe even starting out with cards, like Oracle cards or tarot cards, working privately with yourself.
Yeah.
The first thing that you need to do is make sure that you take that instant, like we were just talking about. We always have that instinct to want to doubt ourselves. You have to put that out of your mind at least so much, and just start working on it that way. You got to know who you are, and to know who you are, that's where the meditation comes from. I always tell people, you got the spiritual toolbox, and here's the things you need to put in it, and it's stuff that you're always going to go by. I hope that helps you a little bit there.
Yeah.
Also,
let me throw this. Let me. Sorry, go ahead, Holly.
That's good.
No, it's okay. It's your show, Shane. I ain't taking
No, I was gonna say. let me throw in my my homeboy again there real quick, so I can. I love it.
Hey, this is Ghost Hunt Weekend's President Chad Morin, and you are listening to Paranormal Highways.
You gotta do a fist pump, Holly, not a.
I gotta find the camera. There was one question that I did want to ask. How do you all do the readings, like over the phone, over the web, stuff like that? Is it much harder for you guys to do that stuff, or nah?
Well, are you talking about our lives? Like, we love doing lives. Whenever we get together, I'm like, let's do live, because when we do lives, we normally do like a 1-card pull or something. We just have to. What we ask is that we. Normally, if you do an email, let's talk about an email. If somebody gets in touch with us and says, let's do a reading by email, I request a picture. I want to. Hey, Ron Davis. I see his little message there. I just want to say hi. Oh. They actually, like, I want to zone in on that name and that person, and then I shuffle and I concentrate on them. Okay. If I've met them, I concentrate on their energy, their interactions. The lives, oh my gosh, that was the hardest thing for me, because me and Ashley were the last ones to actually do it via email, or lives or anything. We did not want, you don't understand like how anal we are. Holly has come busting out a lot faster. But me and Ashley have it. If we're bringing you a product, it's because we have tested it and tested it. We'll take people aside and say, can we do this for you for free and no charges? Let us use this on you to see if this is a good product. So we wanted to make sure what we were given is a good quality. So that was really hard, and I love it now, because all I have to do is concentrate on the name, who they are, just try to link up with their energy, from across the way. I mean, seriously, it's the coolest shit ever. And a lot of times we've had people come on our lives and we'll be like, we know you ain't real. This is a catfish right here.
Oh
And
God.
it's cool. Yeah. Because we can't link up with them. Like the name and stuff like that. We're like, whoop, this is off. Something's off here. I can't do it. And it's the coolest shit ever. So y'all be looking for, if you come on the Southern Gypsies page, we're going to start doing those a lot more. Normally we feed through Holly's, but we're trying to up our numbers so that we can do everything on there and then just share it on our pages or whatever. So I'm hoping to get these ladies doing some more damn lives, y'all. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say. Okay,
Really. Something to think about too is when we talk about connecting with someone, it's people think it has to be a physical. You have to be in person. That's not true. Some people do their best readings when they're not around someone.
Yep.
And this is because they get a little, I guess, kind of, I like to say gun shy, because they're around that person, so they get anxious. It's much easier to read someone when you're not with them, because you're pushing out to connect with their energy more. So like when I do my healing sessions, I'll do distant healing sessions, and people are like, well, how does that work? It's the same concept. You're pushing your soul body, your energy out to connect with someone else. So some of these readings that are done distantly are way more intense than they would ever be in person.
Yeah.
That's cool as heck. Go ahead.
I'm glad that Holly touched on that energy transference. Like, okay, for example, me and Ashley are readers, and Holly is a healer. So me and Ashley are actually third level Reiki also, but we took that to understand energy better, not to be healers. I got physically ill. I ain't gonna lie, man. It was horrible. Every time I would try to perform Reiki, because you have to pull that energy and then you're pushing that energy out. I'm not made like that. I'm a reader. So what I try to do is I try to grab all that energy in. So what I was doing is just getting a bunch of shit. It was the worst shit I've ever encountered. I'm third level though. Don't get it wrong. I didn't give up. Okay. But and I understand it. I understand the movement of the energy. Holly, and if you ever listen to her, she'll talk about shielding and protecting as a reader, because that's what she does. She takes that, she's healing, she's taking the gunk off of them, things like that. As a reader, we don't want that as much. We want to suck every little bit we can out so that I can give you the best reading I can. I know this is crazy.
From suck to blow.
And this, folks, is how we go down.
So, I mean, even if now I'm better at it. I'm protecting myself a lot better than I used to, but we would go to haunted locations and they would actually have to put my sick ass in the car and drive me away from the property to break that energy bond. Manila School, I was so embarrassed because we were walking around filling out the place. I got physically ill. Like, I'm talking about to the point of I get screaming headaches, want to throw up. Like, sometimes it's crying, sometimes all kinds of crazy stuff. And she had to get me off the property, drive around the cornfields, take damn pictures while I was passed out on the side. I was like, okay. Because there is also, I believe the ley lines are different there. I really do. And it just jacked us up, man. And because I'm a reader, I want to get all that in where, yeah.
All out.
Yep. So it's when I feel it coming on now, and it's embarrassing because I knew none of those people. Then I had to do the walk of shame back in there after I like cold potatoed in the car. It was but
Oh
yeah,
my
man.
goodness.
So that's a difference. Like when people talk about energy and stuff,
Right.
it is. And I met another girl that was like, I'm just not getting the Reiki. It doesn't feel right. I felt, drained afterwards. I'm like, girl, you're a reader. You're not a giver. You're a taker, like I am.
Something, there's a Jane C who is made a comment in here,
Yeah.
and we've got a great reply for you, Jane C. She said, anyway, she was at an event where a psychic was reading. When she got to me, she didn't really say much. Do you think there was something blocking the reading? Okay, let me say something real quick, because I've had multiple people say, I block people from reading me.
Mm-hmm.
No, you really don't, because Misty could come along and not be able to read you, and I could come along and pick up on this, that, and whatever. Yeah. And it's because we all read differently, and whatever energy you're putting out is it's kind of that connection. It's magnetic. So think of it that way.
Yeah, that is, we say that a lot. You need to pick your psychics well. Like, if you sit down with somebody and they ain't reading you and they can't read, I had that happen. We were in Florida, and this guy who owns a shop, he's great. He's a great guy, very intuitive. He does this for a living. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And he said to her, he said, ma'am, I'm sorry, I can't read you, so I'm not charging you. I can't go forward with this. He was very open because, like I said, we could feel those connections. When we get a good link on you, man, I'm going to be able to read really, and that means you're throwing out that energy good too. So we're linking up good. He knew in the beginning, he's like, I'm just not able to. So she come to me and she said, he can't read me. And I said, well, honey, sit down. We're going to give it a try. And we were able to, but it wasn't anything like I was special. It was just the different vibrations that happened.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
Yep.
I was going to ask if it was the vibrations.
It is. Plus, you'll notice that certain psychics, they may be able to use different tools, because it just depends on what the spirit guides, how you're connecting, how that spirit wants to come across and talk. One of them, I had one to talk about tattoos, and I couldn't understand, so I just started saying, "Listen, man, I know you probably."
I hope not tattoo placement.
Yeah.
Oops.
I tell you what.
I'm a psychic. Y'all seen that? I just read her mind.
My sister, Oh my gosh, she posts the craziest stuff about me, and then I get these random guys that come up to me at work and go, "So, I hear you got this tattoo and blah blah blah," and I'm just like, "How do you know this?" He's like, "I just do," and he's friends with her on Facebook. Yeah.
So this is the thing about Misty. Let me tell you guys.
Mm-hmm.
You'll find a lot of videos of Misty, a lot of pictures of Misty, and this is why. She always sees the stupidest shit at the very time. So I'm going to tell you guys one of these moments. So we was at Manila Schoolhouse in Iowa, and they had showers there because we slept at this house.
Oh no.
So we was like, oh, we're going to do the whole, we're back in school showering together, because I was like, I'm a big woman and I was a big girl back then, and I never wanted to take a shower with them skinny bitches. So we all got in there and showered. And so Ashley was going around taking pictures because it was just her own personal, this is, just a bonding
High
moment
school days,
in the schoolhouse. So anyway, Misty gets on Ashley's phone to send the pictures to me. However, in that group chat, there was a number that was no longer working. That number was actually attached, now forwarded someone else. So not only did she send my nudes to this random man who then called, went off. Yeah, it was a bad situation. Yeah. But she had earlier on sent him a picture of a dead rat.
What?
A dead rat.
I was threatening him. I don't know. I didn't know who this man was. It was a friend who got a new number, but I didn't change that number, so I just kept sending this man shit. And he was like, "What is this?" The funny part was, though, is at the end of all those pictures, I sent a very professional picture of us in front of the Southern Gypsy sign.
I told you guys, it's never a dull moment with these ladies.
Oh
never.
We have so many stories.
We do.
We have so many stories.
The rest of that is I'm back there. I'm like, hey man, it ain't no big deal. Like I'm like, Matthew McConaughey. It's all right. It's in the back seat. Holly's losing her shit. My sis Ashley calls him and says, "How dare you be mean?" He's like, "I don't know who you are." Like, it doesn't matter. You need to say you're sorry. And he's like, "Well, I'm sorry, but I got my kids with me." And she's like, "Well, you should be glad you got sent those." That's all I got. I mean, she was just never met this man in her life, just randomly. And he's getting dead rat pictures. That man probably thinks we are crazy.
Well, I mean, they are right about the crazy part, because you ladies are pretty crazy.
Crazy in a good way, though. Good.
What kind of events and stuff you got coming up?
Oh gosh, Lord, we're going back to Iowa.
Hopefully, no nudes involved.
There's no nudes involved. No. Let's see.
That costs extra.
This weekend, you guys, is it this weekend or next weekend? This weekend, you guys are going to be, okay, so Missy and Ashley are going to be representing the Connor sisters, of course, them and the Southern Gypsies at the WivaCon in Withville, Virginia.
Yep.
And then August the 10th, we are doing an event with Kelly Moonspinner, Coyote Chris Sutton, and them out at Ferrara Schoolhouse. And after that, we have, holy shit, maybe you should bring up we've got a handy dandy little calendar located on the Southern Gypsies Facebook.
We do.
Yeah. Look, guys.
Ash Bash.
Are you going out to Ashmore?
Yeah, we're going to Ash Bash.
Yeah. Ladies will be out at Ashmore. And not only that, over in September, 12th, 13th, and 14th, they're going to be at Scarefest, which yours truly will be there with them. You seen us here?
Got to tell you something.
Oh, no.
Guess who's going to be performing burlesque at the VIP party?
Misty!
I love her.
I'll just be sending everybody's nudes to the wrong people. Don't worry.
She will.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. But listen, guys, be sure get on Southern Gypsies Facebook, and you do have a website. What was your website?
SouthernGypsies.org.
SouthernGypsies.org.
We
You
have
just heard
kids.
where they're going to be. I know for sure they're going to be at Scarefest with us in September.
Yep,
Go ahead.
we're going to Ash Pash. We'll be in Irwin, Tennessee. There is a metaphysical shop down there. We're going to be there for 2 days. I can't believe shit. God, you can tell I've been at work all day. Can't remember the name of that name of the shop we're going to, but it's all on our Facebook. We are also going to be doing
Mount Rosa or something.
Yes. Paranormal Kicks Cancer. They were the guys that brought us down to Florida. They're going to be in Gallatin, Tennessee. We're going to be doing that house that Missy just mentioned.
I don't know what the hell I mentioned, but I just know it's a mountain of roses.
She don't know what the hell she mentioned.
No, we don't know what the hell's going on at any time. We try.
Yeah. I just show up and read, baby.
Oh, there you go, guys. That's 2/3 of the Southern Gypsy. We'll hope to catch the third one again sometime when she's not busy.
Yep.
If you want to catch us again or keep up with us, go on to www.paranormalhighways.net. We have our Facebook, we have our Twitter on there. Go on those sites, like, share, and subscribe. And if you're interested in ghost hunts or anything like that, go on www.ghosthuntweekends.com and get your ultimate paranormal experience.
Right. By the way, happy anniversary, honey. Y'all had your anniversary the other day, didn't you?
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you.
We stalk you a little. It's all right.
That's all right. I keep an eye on those pictures that y'all post. I was telling Holly I love the picture of y'all down by the water when you all three were down there. That's my favorite one you all posted there.
Oh, I tell you what. Thank you very much. I work with a bunch of men in a machine shop, and they kept telling me they were going to check the wildlife cameras to see if they got the good angles.
What they do, run down there real quick and put up their
the game cameras. I know. Yeah, that's what I think. Yeah.
Tell me you didn't change out there, did you?
No.
Oh, you're busted.
We had it all hanging out.
Oh my goodness, you all are busted. Love you, ladies. They will be with us. They will be with us at Fest. I will be at Bubba Fest. I do believe it's August. It's the weekend after the 9th.
Look, you can't remember what they're doing.
Well, I got so many things going on. And not only that, we're going to be on Scarefest Radio August 9th. And I think after that, me and Chad Warren and Stacy Warren will be on Scarefest Radio August 9th. That is a Friday. And then I think the week after that, that's when we're going to be down in Knoxville, Tennessee at Bubba Fest. We're going to be down there. But like I said, ladies and gentlemen, you want to keep up with the Southern Gypsies.
Dave.
I love these ladies. Southern Gypsies on Facebook, southerngypsies.org. If you want to get a hold of them, get some of them live readings and stuff. Not live pictures, just readings. Oh, my goodness. No. And I am posting on Spotify now. I do have voices on Spotify, so you guys get on there cruising down the road, miss the show, just want to listen to the voice part, give me a moment. I only got 3 or 4 on there, but I'm working this hard. I didn't think the podcasting would be this hard, man. I'm talking about a lot of stuff that I got. But I'm going to jump off here. The ladies are going to jump off here, and we love you all. And always, my friends, stay spooky.